How do we deal with budgets? Well, number one is the cost for remote employment in the Philippines is way less. It just is.
I was in California. The water is like $6. Compared here in the Philippines, it's probably just a cent.
A penny. Hey, good day and welcome to the Offsite Team podcast. The problem with business is we, as DME business leaders, we are trying to find dependable and affordable employees. And today, as we start a brand new season, there's a huge problem. What do we do with reimbursements? What's going to happen in the new year, depending on where you are located? So, hey, we are here with April. Hey, how are you today for season 2, April?
Good. I've been busy. How are you?
You have been busy. Things got absolutely crazy the last couple of months. I was supposed to go to the Philippines. We're going to have a major training session. I managed to literally blow out my back. Like, I don't know how I did it. I did not fall down. I managed to literally, a piece of my S1 on the base of my vertebrae literally split off, went into my nerve. I started actually getting paralysis of my left leg, went in for emergency surgery, and all this was 10 days before I was supposed to come to the Philippines and do some training with you guys. So we ended up sending our chief financial officer in our place, and you guys had an amazing time. Lots of, it was awesome, but it kind of put things back because we were going to record episodes in the Philippines and do all sorts of other fun stuff. But here's the thing. Sometimes life happens. I did not plan on going in for surgery, and I was out for basically a full month. Our business went forward. In fact, we actually had record profits, record sales, and a lot of this is just the result of having a team and what happens when we have a team behind us that can do work. And this is actually what makes sustainable work, which is really, really cool. Well, hey, today's episode is all about stabilizing finances, what having a remote workforce solution in the Philippines looks like, and it's really imperative today. We are recording this podcast, and this is important to say, hey, we're recording this podcast on February 26th, 2024. And the reason why I pulled the date out is if you were in the DME field, durable medical equipment, respiratory, rehab, they have not yet fixed, and when I say they, I mean Medicare has not yet fixed the reimbursements for most of the United States. Now, if you're rural, like one of our 5-star stores is in a rural area, they're still getting great reimbursement. But what's happening with us is we've lost between, I think it's like 22 to 32% year over year of what we are getting paid for a wheelchair, for a CPAP mask, you name it. So what's going to happen? And we're going to dive into that today because it's a huge problem. If we don't know where we're going as a company, what do we do about that? So it's one of those things. I could very easily drop this episode, and when it drops, we could actually find out the next day things are going to get fixed. But that still doesn't necessarily fix the problem where if we're going to be selling things to Medicare patients, what do we do and how does that look like? So it's one of those things. Imagine a world where you never have to worry about finding trustworthy employees again, and you don't have to worry about, hey, what is Medicare going to do next? So anyway, today's problem is understanding financial unpredictability. That's one of those things that we deal with, and what does that look like? So let's just kind of start with knowing, here's the problem. How much money are we going to get for a wheelchair? Let's just play around with what procedure code do you know, April, where we have
for the wheelchair?
Yeah, for a wheelchair.
K004 is the most common.
Take a K4 wheelchair. How much do we get paid for that?
Oh, that I'm not so sure.
We would have to literally look it up. Any other store knows what they're going to be reimbursed for a bag of potato chips. A plumber knows what they're going to charge per hour. But we don't know. It's like, hey, so how do we deal with that? And what is maybe a solution to how do we figure that out, how much we're going to get paid? So here's part of the solution. If you were a DME owner, get in contact with your representative and say, hey, we need to make sure you take care of our reimbursements. That's number one. And I will say, I can almost guarantee, depending on when this drops, Medicare will fix our reimbursements. They truly will. If not, we will not end up providing services. There was a large provider down in Alabama just last week that just said, hey, I'm done with bent metal, is what he said. Very prominent provider. He did not get out of DME. He just went straight towards respiratory as well as other profitable areas. And frankly, I don't blame him. Our store hasn't done that. We still do bent metal. We actually still do everything. And the reason why I think we are allowed to do, we can do everything, is because we have offsite team members. If we had to pay our workers here in the States $17 to $25 an hour, and even the $17 an hour is way more than that when you throw in FICA and Social Security and all that other kind of stuff. We need affordable employees, which we call team members, on the back end doing all the things like running insurance verification and all that kind of stuff. So every year we go into the year with 3 different business plans. That's just kind of how our team does business. During COVID, things were wonderful actually, because they kept raising reimbursement rates. Well, we're now almost like pre-COVID, where they're like, hey, you're going to be cut 30%. So let's just, it's one of those things. How do we deal with budgets? Well, number one is the cost for remote employment in the Philippines is way, way less. It just is for various reasons. April, talk about it. Why is things more affordable in the Philippines compared to the United States? By the way, you were in California 2 weeks ago. We flew you out for some training. But why do you think, why are things so much cheaper and more affordable in the Philippines?
Well, it's probably because of the economy. So when you live in the Philippines, the cost of living is really, it depends on how much your earning is, but probably because of the economy and probably because of the difference between, because I was in California, the water is like $6.
Isn't that crazy?
And here in the
here's a bottle of water, $6.
A bottle of water is $6, as compared here in the Philippines. For that one, it's probably just a cent.
A penny.
When you compare it.
So
a penny.
It's crazy. Yes. Now, granted, we flew you out to California. California might be the most expensive state of all the states out there. That's crazy. Isn't that nuts?
It is.
And so, it's way, way more affordable.
It is.
So, it's one of those things we can, by having that, and you're way, way more affordable, it allows us to deal with the fluctuations that we get. Hey, what is reimbursement going to be like in March of 2024 or August of 2024, or what's going to happen in 2025? By having offsite team members, it gives businesses that flexibility of what that looks like. So, that's one of the financial benefits of having remote team members in the Philippines. Now, it's one of those things. If we're dealing with fluctuations, how do we, what can we offer? Because someone might say, hey, I was not waiting for this. And all of a sudden, bam, it happened. I need between 1 to 5 extra team members really, really quickly to help me scale my business. How do we help with that when it comes to fluctuating reimbursements? What do we offer?
Oh, we do have offsite team members that they can hire, and compared to what they are paying for a United States employee, it is much cheaper, which will help with the reimbursement. So I've read this article. It's just one of the example that there's this one doctor that maybe we can just lower the standard of how we do the checkups and all that, because the reimbursement is really low. Now, being a DME provider, you don't want to do that. You don't want to lower the quality. Yes. So what you do is, instead of having everyone in the United States, why not hire someone from the Philippines, like the offsite team, which is cost lesser.
Yeah, way more affordable. It's one of those things. If they keep dropping the reimbursement as much as they will, it will eventually hit service, but we would not like to have that happen. So you take our communications team as an example. We have a mixed communications team or call center. I hate calling it a call center, but it's our communications team. And what we do is it pushes out. And if you give me a call, I can walk you through how we do this. But we have a combination of team members in the Philippines and US-based team members answering calls. It's not just one or the other. And it's worked really, really well for our business. And we track KPIs and we track numbers and what that looks like. And that's one of the ways of doing it. We just have to continue to work smarter. And it's how do we combine both sides of it, and that's kind of what it looks like. So in other words, setting up remote team members in the Philippines, super easy. We have a proven process. It's A, then B, then C, and then bam, you're ready to rock and roll. I just got a text message from someone over in Tennessee saying, hey, we need extra help answering calls. How do we do this? Because the person is very talented in one way. And the way you scale as a business leader is to really do what you do well on areas that you can scale. And small things such as verifying reimbursement, the first level of answering phone calls, all of that can be outsourced to offsite team members, can't it? It adds to long-term benefits and sustainability. So how long have you been working with me now? I was just thinking about this. How long has it been?
I'm turning 5 years this year.
I thought it was 5 years.
Imagine.
Can you believe it? We've been working side by side for 5 years. It feels like a year or two. And so it's one of those things. You have offered the ability for us to scale as a company. And it's one of those things we're going to have to get into some stats, but I think offsite team members tend to last maybe 90% longer than U.S.-based team members. Now, granted, I have some U.S.-based team members that have been with our company well over 10 years. However, if way more stable, which is kind of ironic. You would think that the local team members would be more stable than the team members in a foreign country. And it's been the exact opposite. Why are Filipino team members more reliable and longer tenured than, let's say, U.S.-based team members? You've been here twice. Why do you think?
I think it's because, number one, of the culture. So we tend to be loyal people, and especially when we feel that we're valued. And then the company's culture is number two. So our company's culture for the offsite team, as well as Howard's Medical, is really great. That we feel valued. We feel that the company cares for us, especially with it's not just work and work and work. There's also lots of things that we do for our team members. Like we have the financial peace training, which is, I would say it's outside the curriculum when it comes to business, but we do that. We also have trainings. So the company culture is really great, which is the most important thing, and the benefits that we offer. So we have a lot of benefits that we provide our offsite team members, which also one of the things that boosts the morale of the team members that we have.
And morale is just very, very important. Now, let's jump back to these crazy reimbursements that we're dealing with. So what's fascinating is, Medicare went back to their pre-COVID rates is what happened. So on like our K4 wheelchairs, they got dropped dramatically. But at the same time, what's interesting is, at least here in Washington State, where we have 5 locations and are operating, our Medicaid has not changed. Our third-party insurances have not changed. We have a location at a little town called Ellensburg, Washington, that's considered rural. Right. Their reimbursements are off the chart in a good way. So it's really fascinating. They'll literally go across the street from the store, drop off a wheelchair, and we get really, really good reimbursement. And then another one of our stores can drive 45 minutes to a very rural area, but it's not considered rural, and get almost half. And so it's like, how do we deal with all this? It truly is not a good thing. So the way we do this is first to understand, hey, this is what we have to do. And just understand cost of doing business. And, our next episode, which is going to be on KPIs and changing KPIs, that's one of the ways around this is to understand, hey, what's our reimbursement? And how can we change KPIs, including leading and lagging indicators, that will help companies maximize business? So even though we do this podcast to say, hey, maybe you want to hire an offsite team member from us, but what you also get with this is we're going to help you with your company's KPIs. We're going to put them up against our KPIs and say, hey, you're knocking it out of the park, or maybe you could work in this other direction. So it's almost a 2 or a 3 for you're getting a business partner, because we want to see you succeed. Let's say you hire 1 team member. We'd like to see you with 5 or 10 because your business is growing so fast. And some of the ways is just understanding what's going to happen with reimbursement and what that looks like. Now, I think the government's going to get their act together and fix our reimbursements. But even when that happens, guess what's going to happen? A couple years ago, if that happens, they might do a retroactive, and we're going to have to rebill all those claims. Right. That is a lot of work. Well, if that happens, guess who can do it? Our offsite team members.
Offsite team.
It's super easy for them to figure that out. And it's going to be a lot of phone calls. Well, why am I getting a second bill? I already paid my copay. Well, this is your copay of your copay. That happened a number of years ago. Were you with us when that happened?
Nope.
Oh, it was horrible. Like, they literally did a retroactive price increase. So you might have paid your copay, but then you had to repay the second half of the copay from the new. We ended up having to do
Right.
We were able to collect on some of it, but some of it you just can't. You can't go to a grocery store and say, hey, the cost of this candy bar is $1. Nope, we're going to tell you it's 3 months later. You know that candy bar you ate? It's now $1.20. It just doesn't work that way, which is really, really hard. You've been with us going on 5 years. What makes things really easy is we have a proven process, and that proven process is going to make it easier for the companies that we work with, isn't it?
Correct.
So, an offsite team member, we understand the challenges faced by DME, which is durable medical equipment, rehab, respiratory business leaders in their quest to find dependable and affordable employees who also know Brightree. So, imagine a world where you never have to worry about finding trustworthy employees again, a world where business operates smoothly with a team that consistently delivers excellence. Hey, we are here to make that vision a reality. So anyway, all you have to do, go to offsiteteammember.com. Just go there. Give us a call. You'll talk to Rex, and who's in the Philippines, and he'll walk you through exactly what it's like. If you're curious, give Rex a call, and then he'll set up a meeting with me, and we can talk about, hey, is this going to work for you, or is it not going to work for you? We want to make things easy for your business. Hopefully not like me, where you blow your back out and need help, but it's one of those things you're scaling, or you just want to go on vacation, for crying out loud. So hey, reach out to us. We are here to do that for you, and we're going to make your life a whole lot easier, especially in 2024. Okay, well, thank you. And next week, how to change your company's KPIs, both your main KPIs as well as your offsite team KPIs, and so it's going to allow you to scale in the new year. Okay, take care.